Trump and Mamdani. I could see Trump. Mamdani, you and I were very similar. Sort of like the classic bad guy trope. We're not so different, you and I. We're not so different, you and I.
Elmo says we're not so different, you and I.
Mickey says you're not so different, you and I. But see, the only thing about Mickey is that I got billions of dollars and I own all your favorite movies. You'll never enjoy your childhood again.
Hey, it's the truth, Mickey owns it all. The great mouse, the great Skaven, and Mickey is a Skaven. Owns it all. But apparently, CNN is saying there isn't a difference between Trump and Mamdani. They're very similar. Oh, big brain tactics there, CNN.
They're both from New York. They both have a populist message, and they both shocked the political establishments. So is it possible that Donald Trump and the socialist candidate Zohran Mamdani are birds of the same political feather?
Donald Trump and he both get out and they talk to people and they listen to people and they understand how people feel. And he's using social media the way that Donald Trump has. And you know what? All of us in life have different perspectives, different experiences. He's running in a city that's very different.
And hey, she means that as a compliment. Yeah. She really does. Yes. And I don't think she's wrong in the broad strokes of it. What do you think, Pete?
Well, they are certainly similar in terms of the political playbook that they're running. I want to make sure we're all clear. They're not similar in terms of their ideology. There's nothing that's similar about them. But this all reminds me of a little experiment that AOC ran on her Instagram account right after the election. She asked voters who split their tickets and voted for her and for Trump or Trump and another Democrat, why? Why did you do that? Polar opposites of the ideological spectrum. And it came down to the same reason for almost everyone, to a person: authenticity. Feeling like those politicians understand the struggles that you face. And that makes a difference. And I don't care for Mamdani's politics at all, but he has tapped into that. He has been able to.
Can I just argue, make a little quibble with a little something? Because I do think that Donald Trump, more than any other Republican, he has actually done partial state ownership of private enterprises. He is populist in the sense that he is anti-globalization, anti-trade, effectively. So there are some actual policies that do not make him aligned with long-term
anti-globalization, except when it comes to the Intifada. But
oh wow, he hasn't said. Listen, I haven't seen Mamdani decide, go all anti-Team America by saying or doing all this crazy stuff here. Okay, look, his win in the New York primary, I'll give due dissidents the point. They just said, yeah, it was a huge historic win. Okay, he defeated Cuomo and he defeated a field of so many other people. I'm surprised by the outcome of it, but okay, ranked choice voting definitely shows that, one, it works, but also number two, he won. Get over it. And now a lot of the Democrats are in a little bit of a quandary situation because they now have to decide whether or not they're going to endorse him or not, or undermine his campaign. And we know that Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo are running as independents. And by the way, I picked a bad time to pause on this lady. Bad time to pause. Pause. Bad time to pause. But also, Patrick D., I just saw your comment. They are really desperate if they're trying to play is to try and scare people by comparing him to Trump. Yes, Mamdani and Trump are, I'll say this, they are very similar in regards towards talking to people and rallying up their base. But that's about it. Then they separate when it comes down to policy. But defending their policy, yes, they'll defend their policy. I hope Mamdani doesn't get too co-opted by the Democrats, but we'll see what happens. Let's wait and see. I'm not holding my breath. I will defer to the people who live in New York City to give me a fair analysis. So I'll defer to Russell and Keaton from Due Dissidence. I'll defer to Larry Sharp. I'll defer to Jose Vega. I'll even defer to Mike, okay? Mike from No Sound Bites Allowed. I'll defer to those four because guess what? They live in New York City. They cover New York City politics. It's in their blood. It's in their bones. So be it. They know what's happening in NYC. I'm going to be a little skeptical here and be like, okay, we'll wait and see if Mamdani does follow through with his policies. If he does, it's a sign of bigger things. Do I think that could reform the Democrat Party? I don't know. I'm going to say probably no, because the Democrats have always been resistant to change. They've done so in the past, and they're not going to change anytime soon. Is there a similarity between Trump and Mamdani? Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah. to rally up their base. But that's it. This was a bad time to pause on this lady. Pause.
Like, listen, Zoran Mamdani, I don't see this parallel really, and I think we're projecting a lot on Zoran Mamdani, who is like very, very unknown. And he reminds me kind of Beto O'Rourke. Remember that guy? Progressives were trying to tell us.
Except that he won.
No, I know.
Beto O'Rourke. No, we were all for Bernie. Stop making bet. I'm going to calm down. Listen, folks, there's going to be a point where I'm going to be too crazy to do this show anymore, man. I think this might be it.
Well, I know that he won an election, but let me just put throw a little cold water on that. New York's got over 8 million people. 1 million people voted in this Democratic primary. That's an eighth of the population. Of that 1 million people, half of them voted for Zoran Mamdani. He got 1/16 of the New York population. And we'll see what happens in the general. But I lived in New York a long time. New York City is liberal. It's not Portland liberal. And I don't think most New Yorkers who live in the financial capital of the country, if not the world, want to globalize the intifada, want to government-run supermarkets. I just don't think a lot of this stuff was well known to a lot of voters. And had he had a Republican challenger who was competitive and not Curtis Sliwa, maybe someone could have been making all of these arguments to a majority of New Yorkers. Again, we'll see what happens, but I think there's a lot of projection onto him
massive questions about what happens.
Fight with my friend S.C. Cup. He does not want to globalize the intifada. He's never said that he wants to do that.
Does he know that?
He's never said he wants to do that. Let's be clear. But he has been really, I don't like this whole comparison between Trump and Mamdani because
I know people don't like it, but I mean, obviously, it's very convenient. It's very.
God, I'm sorry. I can only stand to do this so much, but yeah, way to break it all down, CNN. Like, are we learning anything here? They're trying to make everyone afraid of Mamdani because, oh no, Trump. Woogie, boogie, 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 boogie.
Convenient to not like it, but
because I'll tell you why.
I mean, populist politicians do often run with the same.
But you mentioned
it doesn't really matter what the policy is, actually, in a way.
I have a theory.
But Trump has been on the side of on every side of every issue. So he's not actually that authentic. He takes every position possibly and then just lies about it. Mamdani's principled. Whether you like his ideas or not, he's not been on every side of every issue. He's far more authentic in every possible way that you can imagine than Donald Trump, who has lied more than anybody to his own people. The comparison to me, I'm having a hard time with it.
I can jump in here though for a second, because when we think about politics, we often talk about horseshoe politics. So if you look at the shape of a horseshoe, the extreme ends are actually not that far apart from each other. And the other thing that
and then you make it into a circle and we can play mind games and scare people. Woogie, boogie, 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 woogie, boogie, 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 boogie.
that I've learned in my time as an elected official and gone through a lot of elections is that people love the idea of change. And that's what Trump represents. And that's what that's what he represents too. And so I think sometimes, especially with people who don't pay attention to politics inside the bubble like we do every single day and every week, you have someone out there, they're charismatic, they're tapping into your angst and anger.
They're talking differently.
They're talking differently, and they're talking about change. And I think, one of the challenges that the Harris campaign had was, it's like, no one says, yay, status quo. But you talk about wanting change, even if it's not necessary, right? People want.
No, I did not do a Woody Woodpecker impression. I don't think I could pull that off. Let's see. I screwed that up. Never mind. Let's see. And hold on. Oh, go. The horseshoe theory. The bullshit liberal nonsense to push people to the center. Yes, because what could go wrong?
Want change. Barack Obama was about hope and change.
And sometimes they want it to be dramatic.
Very,
that's why,
very much so.
When somebody says, we're going to open up grocery stores that or the government runs so the prices aren't so high. I don't know. They might say, okay. And Donald Trump is literally pointing the finger at corporations and saying, do not.
Mike from No Sound Bites says CNN panel is being dishonest about Mamdani and Trump. They're counting on an uninformed public to believe them without a challenge. And I think that's a great note because I only could sit through. Again, there's just like maybe another minute or more in there. But no. If you know how to speak to a crowd, you have a gift. Mamdani has it. Trump has it. Okay. That's where the similarities separate. I mean, an argument can be made. Bernie Sanders, before he was revealed to be a nutless cuck of a wonder, had that same power 2016, 2020. And yes, could be argued with the oligarchy tour, and Trump. They know how to talk to a crowd. If you have that gift, you have the gift of gab, you can rally a crowd, rally an army, and boom, you got your legion. But then that's where the differences are at. I mean, there is a fundamental difference between Mamdani, who's running for New York mayor, by the way, and Trump, who is the current president of the United States. Clearly, they're going to have some differences. But if they know how to rally to a crowd, that means there is a large audience of voters that are being convinced that said candidate is the better of the other opposition. Trump succeeded in that in 2024. He was able to get independents and other people to vote for him in the 2024 election cycle. But that goes for any election that we witnessed before 2024. It's the same message. If you can convince enough voters and people across the political spectrum that you are the more superior candidate, that you are the better of the candidates, then guess what? You have the gift of gab and your message was successful to go on out there. Yes, you could have a difference of opinion with a person. Absolutely. But then that's where it stops. Halts. So it's a fear tactic. They're trying to convince people and voters that they're too stupid to figure things out. And we've seen how politicians act towards voters all the time. They think very little of you. They don't respect you. They don't like you. And CNN and corporate media are more than happy to promote that by saying, oh, no, look, Mamdani's just like Trump. He's a real bad guy. No. And so this is why CNN's losing views, but also why CNN now is moving into the media landscape. And now many former pundits are now doing their own YouTube channels, being favored by the algorithm. I'm willing to bet if there are people who are watching like corporate media news that they're not redirected to watch happy videos. Ask me if I'm angry. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and comment and hit the like button so that way this counts as a view.